Oh, I got a kiss from Lucy. This is Lucy's roadmap to success. Now she's a cute little puppy. You want a little treat? There it is. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of the things we went over during the session here. You didn't get it all, it's right there. She might be getting full. So one of the things I went through teaching her how to sit, lay down, which is we're calling crash. The guardian might change to something else. Sit up, which is going from a laying down position into an up sit, and just into a sit, and then stand. So if you forget how to do those, message me. I have a video I can share with you. It shows you how to do all those things. I'd like the guardians to practice that in different locations in their house, each guardian twice a day. So I would go through a circuit. So we have 4 commands. So I do like maybe get 8 or 12 treats. And so you're going to go through the circuit twice. So do it first here, then do it over there, then do it sitting over there, do it in the bedroom. Dogs don't generalize well, so they have to do things in multiple locations. And so for a puppy, we just want her to get used to doing it. After a while, remember, we're just saying sit, not good sit. So every time she sits, put the treat in her mouth and then say sit. Treat goes in first, command word after. We're going to do that, and also keep mind her inflection. Don't say sit, sit. Yeah, I know you can get the dog's attention that way, but we always want to be consistent about how we say the command words. So I went through sit down, up, and stand. We also went over a recall exercise, teaching her to come. Remember to keep your arm 45 or 90 degree bend at your elbow so your forearm is parallel to the floor. And I keep my hand not completely flat, just slightly cupped. And then if I lower it, I raise my fingertips so I protect her from being able to see into it. From her perspective, this looks like I have something. And so if I always deliver a treat this way, then she's going to be more inclined to want to take that. I'm going to pull a treat out here so I can show them the hand motion that I like to use to get dogs to come. Can you open that for me? And just grab me a treat, actually, please. I'm going to give you a treat. Yes, I'm going to put you down right here on the couch, and then I'm going to show them how to use a hand motion to put you into a sit. So what we do is I have the treat. Well, you can't start in a sit. That makes it hard to do. There we go. So I go up, and as soon as she sits, I lower it, let her lick it off my hand. I say sit, and then I start tickling her under her chin. So again, when a dog feels good about itself, his nose is parallel to the ground or tilted upward, which is why we never want to pat a dog on top of the head. You can caress and you can scratch, just never pat. And when all things are equal, try to pet her under her chin so she feels good about the things that she wants to do. And that's the method that I like to call passive training that I go over with my clients. Passive training is simply waiting for the dog to offer you a behavior on its own without any influence from the human, and just simply recognizing and rewarding them within 3 seconds. So every time she comes to us, we want to pet her and say, come. Unless she jumps up on us, because that's rewarding that. If she jumps up and you pet her, you're teaching her that the best way to get a human to pet you is to jump up on their shin. What we like in a puppy stage, we won't like later on in life. So in that case, I wouldn't. I'm just telling all the secrets, aren't I? Yes. So every time she comes to you, pet her and say, come. Every time she sits down next to you, pet her and say, sit. Every time she lays down, say, crash, or whatever the word is. If she brings you a specific toy, you can say whatever that command word is. If she sits up, or call it sit and pretty. If she dances, call it dance. She speaks, give her, pet her and say speak, or woof, or whatever the word is that means speak. This is the easiest thing that you can do if you get in a habit of doing it. It'll take the humans about a month to get in a habit, but if you do, you'll do it the rest of the dog's life. And now your dog knows what it can do to make you happy. Now, remember, only use one command expression. Most of us in the United States use 7 command expressions for every command action. Come here, over here, here girl, dog's name, whistle, tap my thigh. Now, if I know 10 commands and each one of them has 7 command words, that means I have to listen for a vocabulary of 70 words, which is a lot more than listening for 10 words. So just say 1-word commands. I would have the guardians write down a list of the command words, and then if somebody's saying come here and the word is come, you're like, vocabulary. You're like, come. Now remember, when I'm saying come, when I get the dog to come, the more we say it, the less we mean it. So if I tell the dog to come and I'm holding my hand like this, I'm going to hold my hand first before I say come. If I say come and she looks at me and doesn't come, then I'm making a kissing sound like, and as soon as she looks at me, I'm going to start lowering my hand and go all the way to the floor if you have to. The lower you go, the more it's for the dog. Once the dog comes over to you and gets in the position you want, then raise it over her hand in an arc. Not vertically, not over her head like that, in an arc. And see how she tracked up, and that'll put her butt down. As soon as her butt hits the ground, lower it, let her lick the treat off your hand, and then tickle under her chin, and I would say the word come. I make a dog sit before I pet it. That's just expected part of the come. Yes, I know. Now, when she knows how to sit, I didn't go over this during the session, so I'm just going to do it right now. I would start doing what I call petting with a purpose. In the dog world, only dogs that are the leader get free love. For us, you have to be a hippie in the 60s. But for dogs, if I pet her for no reason, after a while she's like, well, I'm getting petted and respect for no reason. That must mean I'm the leader. And so you create a disproportional, the dog just has the wrong impression about where its life is in the world. So what we do is if the dog comes up and nudges you, we would tell her to sit, give her a counter order. As soon as she sits, pet her on her chin and say just the word sit. If she's already sitting, ask her to come and sit over here, or ask her to come lay down. She just has to do something to change her state in order to get that affection or attention. After a while, what will happen is she's going to come start sitting in front of you to prepay for attention. Which does that, make sure you pet her within that 3-second window and say the word sit. Now remember, for training, we want to train her in like 1, 2, maximum 3-minute training sessions. Puppies' neurons actually get tired of firing. And so after a while, if your dog's doing well and then all of a sudden stops performing, it's not being obstinate. It literally doesn't have the physical capability to continue doing that. So make sure you stop right away. And always end on a good one whenever you're practicing. Try to keep it like 60 seconds, 90 seconds maximum for training sessions. So I want the guardians to practice the sit and up and stand twice a day for each guardian in different locations. Also, let's practice the come exercise that I showed you. Now, first we do it where we're only about 10 feet apart. But as we're doing this, we want to have the people get further and further apart. So the dog has to go farther and eventually beyond the line of sight. But every time they come to a human, something good happens. Something else I didn't go over with the guardian, her name is Lucy. My dog's name is Quest. When he's doing something I don't like, I call him Rufus. He has a naughty dog name. So you might want to come up with another name, call her Matilda or something else that you use just when she's being mischievous. That way she knows the difference between something good's going to happen, something bad's going to happen. To help her know her name, you might want to have 5 treats. Take these treats and just cut them into little pieces, and then just pop it in her mouth and say the word Lucy. Give her an next treat, say Lucy. Do that 5 times a day, 3 times or 5 treats in a row, 3 times a day. Within a couple days, you say Lucy, she's going to come looking and running. We also went over tips for yelping, mouthing and nipping. I like the guardians. They need to get more toys. We need more enrichment in her puppy playpen behind me. And so she have at least 12 toys in there, but we should probably have at least 20 or 30 toys total. And each day we're going to take 1 toy out, put it in the box, in the front of the box, and take 1 toy out from the back of the box and replace it. So she'll always have 12 toys, but they're always slightly rotating. She should have an assortment of tug toys like ropes, things like that. She should have also plushy toys, stuffed animals that squeak. We would like her to have a couple hard toys like antlers and rigid nylobones. And then you might want to have a couple balls or more interactive toys. Let me see. So for mouthing, when we want to play with her and play tug of war games and kind of teasing her so that she starts kind of reaching out and biting at us. We don't want her to bite us, but anytime her teeth touch our skin, we're going to yelp. And I'm going to demonstrate it's going to wake her up, which I don't really want to do because she's so tranquil resting her chin here, but I would go, ah! And then I would retract and freeze for 1 second. When we get her in a puppy class, you're going to notice when she's playing too rough with another dog, she's going to yelp and the other dog will freeze, or vice versa. This is how dogs communicate to each other. That was too hard. So we yelp and freeze, and then we go back to playing. And we want her to develop bite inhibition. We want her to understand, like I said earlier off camera, that the human skin is just, they're wimps. I just touch them with my teeth and they cry like a little girl. And so we want to teach the dog not to do that at all. So the first thing I do is I yelp 1 time. Second thing I do is I would have an antler or a nylobone, a rigid nylobone in my back pocket at all times. If she starts chewing on my hand and the yelping doesn't work, the next thing is I tease her here, tap her, kind of tease her with it, and eventually get her to latch onto it. Now we've redirected her into chewing something appropriate. Now the next thing we would do after that is we immediately pick up another, well, after we've redirected her, then she's going to pull it away from us, and she goes away and she feels like she has a trophy. So it feels good, she's going to go chew that. We immediately pick up another antler or nylobone, put it in our back pocket, so we always have one with us at all times. The third thing I do is what we call a negative punishment, which is actually leave the room. Now, this is a stronger one, and when we have a puppy this age, we might not want to leave her unsupervised, but it is an option when she gets a little bit older. And then the fourth thing is when she gets really aggressive about mouthing and nipping you, and the other things aren't working, it usually means the dog's overly tired, needs a nap. Put her in the carrier or in the pet kennel, and then we go into or in the playpen, and we go in the other room. Remember to use fun command words. We were saying New York, we were saying Brooklyn to go in the playpen, and we were saying Jersey to get out of the playpen. Use funny command words whenever possible for commands. You can say sit or down or come or lay, But funny command words, there are studies that show it actually helps your relationship with your dog. Let me see what else. The humans need to eat before the dog eats. Dogs eat in the order of their rank. Now let's say we're going to go out and eat somewhere and we're not going to eat in front of the dog. Just get a chip or cracker or something that you eat in 5 or more bites, and then we would feed her. Now right now she's getting fed 3 times a day. I'd like the guardians to try to feed her 5 times smaller portions if we can. I'm going to also show at the end of this video a little bit of a trick on how we can teach your dog to eat out of toys. It's the one that's right here in the foreground. You can see a little orange deal. I've got it loaded up with some high-value training treats to begin with, and we're going to put it in there. Now, I'd like her to practice eating in there. I'd like her to practice sleeping in there, as well as staying in there alone. The guardian needs to practice having her in here when the guardian's in there and the door is closed. Now, the guardian's going to check and see, because we're in an apartment complex. A lot of apartment complexes, you can get away with your dog barking up until 5 o'clock, because most people are gone. So if that's the case, we want to use those hours to practice as much as possible. Separation anxiety dogs have because they have constant access to their humans, and suddenly the humans go to work and leave me, and I'm completely by myself. It's too big of a gulf. So what we want the dog to do is practice being alone while the humans are here. Maybe putting a partition right here so the dog can't see out of the pen when we're watching TV. She knows I'm here, I can smell them, I can hear them, just can't see them. And then after a while, we practice with her, with the guardian. When she works in that room, we have the door closed. One of the things you might want to do is consider getting a security camera so we can actually see her without having to open the door, because if she's half asleep when we open the door, that's going to wake her up for sure. Remember, if she is barking, whimpering, and we go, and even if we look at her, that attention is validating, and that will make her continue to do it. So one of the things we also want to look at is how much exercise the dog's getting. Now, the guardian's a little bit concerned about her immunization. I can't even say that word today for some reason. I think she's fine at this point, but they're going to check with their vet. Well, what we'd like to do is get her some more exercise. She likes to play fetch. That's awesome. That is one of the best ways to exercise your dog. So if she does get a little persnickety, maybe ask her to sit, have her do something else so we kind of break the thought, and then once she's done something else, then we let her out, and then we play fetch for a little bit. A lot of times dogs get ornery because they're bored. And I think part of her barking in there, she's only got 2 or 3 toys. So having a plethora, love saying that word, of toys gives her more stuff. We call it enrichment. Something else you might want to get is a mirror, like you hang it on like that one right there, and put it sideways so she sees her reflection. Reflections spook a lot of dogs and they chase them and stuff like that. So if you put it on the side, she sees her own reflection over and over. It just becomes something normal. We desensitize her for it. Now, I also went over a little counter conditioning. She is reactive to certain sounds. I recommend the guardian when the guardians are coming home, one of them waits out in the hallway, and we jingle our keys right outside the door. Call each other so we know when we're doing it, and we can be on the phone and we can say, okay, so when I'm doing counter conditioning, I'm smashing the treat, letting her nibble on it, nibble, nibble, then we jingle the keys lightly. And while the keys are jingling, she's getting this tasty treat. When the treat is about to go away, we tell the person, okay, enough, and the person stops jingling the treat, so we take the treat away or pop the rest of it in her mouth. So we only want the reward happening when she's hearing the stimulus. You can do this for any sound. You can do it for sounds of doors opening, footsteps out there, people coughing in the hallway. This is an apartment complex. A lot of dogs like this bark at things they don't see and hear. And so we might recreate all those things, yes, and help her practice behaving the way we want during these situations when we're home and we can address it. That way when we're gone, somebody falls down in the hallway. I've heard that before, nothing to be concerned about. Okay, I'm trying to think what other things we went over. We have the whole video above about potty training. If you go to my website, doggoneproblems.com, if you're looking at a desktop, on the right side there's a menu that's called Quest Ed. We're actually going to reformulate that, so just click the menu bar, and you're going to look for Quest Ed. Quest Ed is my puppy's name, and I shot about 100 videos about how to kennel train, potty train, sit, whatever it is, and I created all these videos and posts, and they're all posted there. So there's videos for all sorts of subjects. If you have questions, please go there and check it out because it can really help. And if you have questions, I want you to call me or text me to let me know. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get up and I'm going to put her in here. And if you have one of these, try never to put the dog over, make him go through the deal. Otherwise it teaches them to kind of climb over it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I've taken some high value training treats and I put them in here so she can smell them. So we'll see what kind of footage we get, then we'll wrap this up. But I'm going to get up and walk over there, and the guardian might need to get up so she can actually kind of follow us. So what I'm going to do is put her here. There we go. All right, so I'm going to close it so she can't come out. And she is... Brooklyn, good job. So now we're going to roll it. So we'll see if she, so she's nudging it a little bit. If she nudges it just right, a little piece of kibble will come out. Now, I would feed her out of this thing. Let's see, well, sometimes we gotta get it going for her. Maybe we need a little bit more. Let's put a little kibble in there and we'll load it up. So I would feed out of this thing for about a month or two. This really helps the dog learn to chew on toys, because toys pay out, as opposed to chewing on the furniture. There's no payout for that. Let's see if we can get a good roll. Nope. There we go. Oh, look at all that kibble. So after a while, my dog like nudges this thing around. You can go ahead and film her like a soccer player. And so it's fun. The dog has to work for its food, which is beneficial, because then the dog, it boosts its confidence because it feels like it earned it. And it makes the eating take longer. A lot of dogs start wolfing down their food too much, and that can lead to bloat and all sorts of other problems. But after a while, I'm not going to chew on the couch or shoes. They don't pay out. But my toys, they're like a slot machine. There we go. Now let's see. It went well. So she might be a little bit full because, oh, that was awesome. She hasn't wanted to go through the flap. So I recommend the guardians might want to position that up so that way she can kind of get practice going through in and out of it without the actual flap involved. And then eventually she'll start pushing it more and more. Right now it's not bad because we don't mind her being in here. Okay, let me see if I can grab you here. We're going to wrap up this video. Well, this is Lucy, and this is Lucy's roadmap to success. You're such a sweetie. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it. Isn't that right, Lucy?